If we go back about 100 years, or let's say go back 200 years, the majority of people in the world are either doing farming or manufacturing. And what is required to do that is either what can be learned by practice on the farm and never needs to be taught at all, or can be learned in 5 minutes in the factory, and that's it. And so schools were designed to teach the majority of students to put up with the boredom of factory work. Of course, they didn't need to teach them anything to be effective on the farm, because you learn when you grow up on the farm to do everything you need to know. And so there wasn't much need for schools until relatively recently. What happened was the birth of automation. And as automation began to replace workers, it didn't do what the workers were afraid of, which was to reduce the number of jobs. It actually increased the number of jobs because it made more complexity possible and there were more things to do. But the things that were available to do required a much higher level of performance. And so all of a sudden it became necessary to teach people to do very complicated things instead of relatively simple things. School, however, did not change its methods so that it could teach complex things easily. I have explained previously that it's very easy to do that. In fact, it has been proven over and over again in many different contexts that if we aren't teaching 16 times as fast and as much as we are now, we're wasting our time, and when we do that, people have fun learning that way. And there's all kinds of evidence that this is true. We can prove it beyond any shadow of a doubt. So that's what we should be doing all the time. And as a result, we can teach everything that is now being taught, K through 12, in less than a year. And we could actually, with the system we have now, if we did it properly, we could have people graduating from high school with the equivalent of 4 or 5 PhDs. And that's what we actually need to do, because that's the quality of worker we need in today's world. Because technology is getting more and more complex, and it is creating more and more jobs that companies can't find people to do because they're not qualified to do them. And so we have a tremendous labor shortage at the top, and lots of people who can't get jobs at the bottom, and it's all skewed, and the schools have to do something about this or the entire economy will collapse. So we can't fool around and play games with the past any longer. We have to re-educate teachers, which takes about 2 weeks, and get to the point where we can have students learn the way all the students want to learn and all the teachers want to teach. Because when you have trained teachers to do the kind of teaching I'm talking about, they never want to stop, ever, ever, ever. I kid you not, and that's true of every teacher who's ever been trained to do this. We are imprisoning teachers and students with very bad teaching methodology, and it has to stop, and it has to stop now. The thing that everybody says to me when I explain what I'm explaining to you right now is, where can we see this? And I say, the thing that everybody says to me when I explain what I'm explaining to you right now is, where can we see this? And I say, you can't. And they say, why? And I say, because while there are 25 brilliant educational methods around, any one of which could save the world, no school has ever used more than one of them at the same time. So you can't see 2 of them put together anywhere, and I'm talking about 5 or 6 put together for starters. You can't see that anywhere. Somebody has to do it. As soon as somebody does it, we will show it to the world. And that's what we're engaged in doing now. We're going to create schools that are doing 5 or 6 of these very advanced teaching technologies and getting the blending effect of all of them, so that we're turning out students who are geniuses instead of students who hate school.